Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Supported Employment and Education Program Career Pathways series. Today we have Kamisha McNealy, who is the Assistant General Manager at BW3, and we are just going to have a conversation about a day in the life of manager, server, and all of the other workers that it takes to make that process successful at BW3s. So Kamisha, tell me just a little bit about being an assistant general manager. What led you there? How long you've been there?
So I've been at Buffalo Wild Wings for 10 years. I started as a cashier.
Okay.
And I just moved up in the rank. I worked hard. My days are different every day. There's never a day that's the same. So like today usually is my Mondays are me doing my orders, making sure that I reconcile my inventory, my schedules. It's just different every day. Then tomorrow is Tuesday, so it's buy one get one half off. Traditional wings, those are our busy days. So I'm not as admin on those days as I am on any other day. Like my days go admin one day, in a position the next. Like, and with being the assistant general manager, I'm in charge of the kitchen. So like with ticket times, making sure food gets out properly. So most days on busy days, I'm in the kitchen, expoing, making sure the food comes out the way it's supposed to, making sure it comes out the way you asked for it. Like it's crazy because like I never thought ever that I would be in this position. When I started working at BW3s, I was a cashier, and literally all I thought I was gonna do was be a cashier. When I started in the industry, I was a server. I worked at Denny's too before.
Okay. Before entering into BW3s, you were a server at Denny's.
At Denny's.
Okay.
So I've been in the service industry for a really long time since I started having the job. And when I came to BW3s, I was like, I don't want to be a server. I don't. The one thing about being a server is you have to really work. You have to be a people person. There is no not being a people person because that's your bread and butter. Because you have to make sure you communicate with your tables. You have to be able to talk to them, and you just have to be out there. Like you have to be a butterfly because you have to be like, oh yeah,
Right.
all the time. And some people don't know that is very hard to do every day. So like I working at Buffalo Wild Wings, I know that being a butterfly is harder for other people because if you're not a social person, you're not gonna want to talk to people all the time. So with bartenders and servers, that's their money. Like if you don't know how to talk to people, you can't make money. And then the cashier. So my location does 80% takeout.
Oh, okay. And that's the Water Street location, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And we are very big on takeout. So deliveries, call-ins, walk-up, we're very big on takeout. And people don't realize that we have so much going on. Like it doesn't look busy in a restaurant at all sometimes. And they be like, but y'all not busy in a restaurant. Yeah, that doesn't mean we're not busy. Because there's days we have 10 pages of takeout.
Has that increased with COVID, or has that always been the case for that
It's
location?
always, okay, so we've always been like a 75, 60, 75% takeout store.
Okay.
With COVID, it went crazy. Like, when COVID came, our store was doing so much sales and takeout during the time when we were shut down that we didn't really feel that we were shut down.
Right.
Like,
Right.
we didn't feel that we did not have dine-in.
Okay.
We were still
busy.
It was lines outside. Like at a time, remember when you could only have 5 people in your establishment? We would have to have like a line. Like the police had to come in and tell us like, you guys need to figure something else out because you have too many people in your establishment.
And it's probably like that because you have the work.
It's being downtown. 100%
Yeah.
being downtown. It's literally crazy how much takeout, how many people come in for lunch. or they buy lunch for their employees. Like,
Ooh. So I have a question about that 80% takeout, right?
Mhm.
And you talked about flexibility being a really important skill set for a person to have. How did that look during COVID? So I'm a server, but we're 80% takeout. Is my role changing? What else am I doing? What other
so
responsibilities
during
would I have?
COVID, we hired all of our servers, 90% of our servers that wanted to work. Some of them didn't want to work on as cashiers. We
Okay.
pay them as cashiers. Um,
Is everyone cross trained on all of those skills?
Not all the time. If you want to be cross trained, you can. But some people don't like to be cross trained because like the guys in the kitchen, they don't
That's
want
it.
they don't want to talk to people. That's why they work in the kitchen, which they're cool with. I have to tell them like you have to communicate. You have to talk. Like we have to talk. But like the guys in the kitchen is a kitchen.
Okay.
Servers sometimes most of the servers are trained because they train to be bartenders. The ones that have longevity can cashier if they want to
Okay.
because they have that experience. So it's really on what you want to do and
Okay.
how you want to do it, like what you want to be in your career. Because that's what I tell people all the time. Like your career is when we sit in an interview is based on you, not me, you. Because if you want to be a cashier, you want to be a bartender, server, you can do it all. I did it all. I've worked every position.
Right.
But I had to build. I had to work.
Absolutely.
It's really on if that's what you
Want to do. So if someone came in, right, and they're like, look, I am a people's person, but I'm not good with the numbers, right? So if they strictly want to do serving, some places require, the cross training and the ability to, like in your Target, they're like, hey, the line is long, the backup cashiers. Is that something that happens there? Or if you're a server, you can just stay in that lane?
If you're a server, you can stay in that lane.
Okay.
We don't expect you to do anything that's not in your job description.
Okay.
If you want to go above and beyond to be like, because after being a server, like we have trainers. So the trainers are people that step up, come through, help us when we need it.
Okay.
So you can do whatever you want to do. It's up to you. But if you want to, build and like go on, then you help out. You learn other stuff.
Absolutely.
But other than that, you can go talk to your 5 tables.
And that's
Well,
it.
and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah,
If
and
you
stay
want
in your
to.
lane. And some people enjoy that. Like, I know what I'm doing. I'm coming in for that. And then,
Yep.
that's it for the day. Tell me more about these trainers.
So our wing certified trainers, we have one for each position: cashier, server, bartender, cook. Those are the mini managers, is what we call them.
Yeah.
Like, cause they're my right hand. Like, if I'm not able to be out there on the floor cause I'm doing something, they are the people that I'm like, hey, what's going on out there? Communicate it 100%.
Absolutely.
Like, can be like, oh, hey, I need your help. Did you tell XYZ to do XYZ? Just making sure that things get done that I can't always do sometimes. Like, Mondays, I'm busy with admin stuff. I have I have 3 trainers that work that day.
Mhm.
One in the kitchen, one in the cashier stand, and one on the floor. So they can be communicating and knowing it's running by itself without me. I step in a little bit to check, make my presence known, but everything's running by itself.
That's great. And how does one become a trainer? Is that something that is like a promotion type
It's
or
a promotion.
additional
So
responsibility?
you work for it. Like my trainers that I have right now, they're people that's been there since I was learning to be a manager.
Okay.
So this is like 6-7 years they've been there. Like they built themselves to be in these positions. They prove themselves. They prove their dedication to the job, and then we went from there.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's an opportunity to both stay in your lane and come and do what your position is, or to possibly gain additional responsibilities if you're interested in learning different aspects.
Yeah. One thing I say about Buffalo Wild Wings is they really like to do in-house hires. Like they build you up. If you want to be built up, they build you up. Like I said, one day randomly I was like, okay, I want to be a AGM, and they was like, okay, show us.
What's that?
Assistant general manager.
Okay.
And they was like, show us. I was like, okay, I got you. They was like, learn the numbers. I was like, okay. Learn the budget. I was like, okay. I like the budget. It's what you want to do. So So like my trainers, if you want to be a trainer, I'll be like, okay, show me you can run the kitchen. Show me you can run the cashier stand. Show me you can run the floor. It's just you.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
how,
was gonna, oh, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I was gonna ask, so what were the different positions that you had that led you to the assistant general manager?
So I started off as a cashier,
Mhm.
in November of 2011, and then like 2 months later, I was a trainer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I became a cashier trainer, and then 2014, I became a shift lead, which is just a key hourly manager. And we lost a couple bartenders. So then while I was keying, I started to bartend. I'd already served, so they didn't even need me to serve. And I became the front of house manager in 2015, the year I had my son. So 2015, I became the front of house manager, and I was the front of house manager until 2000 I want to say, I've been in the AGM for 4 years, so what was that, 16, 17, something like that. And I've been in the AGM since then. Like, it was just me putting myself out there because I did not think that I wanted to be a manager. It's a scary position to be in because you are so much in charge of so many things, so many personalities, that sometimes when people like having a bad day, you have to be like, okay, you can't have a bad day today. You can't do this, you know. But it's hard to do that because when you're having a bad day, you're having a bad day.
Right.
But in our service industry, you can't do that. You can't have a bad day. As much as you want to have bad days, you can't. So yeah.
How does that show up? Can you talk to us a little bit more about that? Like you said, you know, you have to be a people person. You have to be bubbly every day. You know, as a server, you come in. You know, we know life happens, right? And we bring that, you know, to work. You know, sometimes. And so, how does that show up? And how do you handle that with?
So 100%, I have to. Like when I'm having a day, I literally have to just remember that I'm here. This is my job. I need this. I tell my servers that, like, I've had servers like, Misha, I'm just not feeling it today, and I'm like, but you can't not feel it today. Like, you literally have to do this because you have to be there. You have to know who you're talking to, because the people already come in, they have their days. So if we're not giving them what they need, it can escalate so bad
And fast.
I've seen it happen 1,000 times. And like the sweetest person, they was just having a day. And a customer was like, no, they're rude. I'm like, this person's not rude at all. Like, they're not, but they're having a day. And nobody will ever understand. You have to cover up so much feelings. You have to bottle yourself so bad with being in the service industry because you can't just be you every day. Unfortunately, you have to be somebody else because you have to be bubbly. I don't want to be bubbly every day. There's days I don't want to even be me, but you have to.
But you want to be successful at your job. You want to stay employed. You want to, you know, do a good job. You want to do what's expected of you, right? So those kind of mental reminders to yourself, like, I need this job. You know, I'm here to, do a great job.
I had a conversation with myself and I'm like, I need this job.
Absolutely.
I cannot.
And just that positive self-talk, I think that lots of professionals can agree that that's a huge part of their day.
Yeah, definitely. And it's with talking to people, like, when I'm in interviews, I tell people all the time, like, I know that some days, like, you might not have a good day. How do you come in off of that? That's one of my questions in my interviews. If you're having a bad day, how would you come in to cover up your bad day?
How do you give something that you don't have, but you still expect it to? Yeah.
And they're like, that's a major key of how you answer. If you can't really answer that, then how can I employ you? Because you have to cover up so many days.
Still perform.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I want to go back to that server position at Denny's. It sounds like it was your start into
It was.
the
It's my first
field?
job.
It was the first job too. Okay. So did you enjoy it?
I loved it. Like,
Okay.
I loved working at Denny's. Like, even Denny's was my family. Because it was my first job. Like, I was 16. I was like,
Yeah.
making $2.33 an hour. Because people need to know that servers don't make
Mm-hmm.
minimum wage. They make what a $2.33. But you make minimum wage, but you have to work for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like to
Okay.
tell people too. Because in the interview, I'm like, you know, you only make $2.33 an hour, right?
Okay. And
Everything else is off of you.
yeah.
Your tips.
What about the other positions? The cashiers, the bartenders.
Bartenders usually start off at $2.33 too. So everybody that's getting tips makes $2.33. So servers and bartenders make $2.33 an hour. Cashiers do get tipped, but they make $10 an hour still because they don't make as much tips. It's not everybody's gonna tip you on a takeout order.
Mm-hmm.
People don't do that. You don't have to, anyways. And then the cooks make anywhere from 13 to more, depending on their experience or their availability. It's all ranged, but bartender servers all make $2.33.
Okay.
So with serving, I was nervous because I don't talk to people a lot. I'm very like in my own shell. But I make good money. I was like, God, why am I making so much money? I'm 16. I'm only working because I wanted to have fun with my friends. I was making
And it started a career.
a career that I never thought I would have.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
mm-hmm.
I never thought I would be a manager at Buffalo Wild Wings. I never thought I'd be managing them. I wanted to be sports. I wanted to be in sports management. Like, I wanted to do like, booking like an agent. And now I'm a AGM in Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
And I love it. I don't regret my career path at all.
Yes. Tell me about the love for it. What's all wrapped up in there?
So what became is that, okay, so working at Buffalo Wild Wings, you know that it's a sports bar. So it's a family establishment, but it's also a sports bar. So I can watch TV every day. I can watch every game. I can be involved with every fight, whatever. And there's people that come in just for that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you learn the people that come in for that stuff and you have conversations with them, it goes over the top. Like, I have people that I've literally been coming to Buffalo Wild Wings since I started working there, and they be like, where you at? Are you outside? Are you in the front house or the back house today? I'm like, I'm in the front house today. They're like, okay, we need the games on. We need to enjoy this. I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Absolutely.
So that is what made me enjoy it most, because I definitely, if I didn't have the sports, I probably wouldn't like it as much. Like, so Buffalo Wild Wings are doing like this beat ups to go. And everybody's like, well, you already working at pretty much a to-go store because we're so much takeout. Would you want to be a GM? And I'm like, no. I need people. Even though I don't like people. I do like people, but I don't like I'm not a butterfly. I'm really shy. But I'm like, I can not do with watching sports with people, interacting. Like when the Bucks won the championship, I was at work.
Oh, wow.
I have videos. It was the best night ever.
Right.
I can imagine.
So you were able to kind of combine the two loves almost, right? Like still get little pieces of that sports, piece. Able to combine it. I think a lot of people probably have aspirations to do that, right? Combine a few different loves into
For
one.
sure. Like,
Yeah.
being in my job with sports, like when the Bucks won the championship, around the corner, they were around the corner from me. The atmosphere was everything.
Yeah, I bet.
So like knowing that I could do that, or like when the Cubs play the Brewers, so many people from Chicago come to Milwaukee. It's crazy. But knowing like, oh, it's Cubs season, like not really, it's Brewer season, but it's Cubs season because they play them for like 3 days straight.
Yep.
And you see so many Cubs fans. You see so many people coming in town just to see them. Or even when they play the Bucks play the Bulls, people to come to town and be able to interact with them is everything. Like,
Absolutely.
you don't have to interact with the same people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You can interact with different people,
Yes.
different cities, all of that.
Absolutely.
Can I ask about a seemingly challenging part of your role, which might be managing of people and how that is for you?
So like right now, this is the most challenging time of my career because we hire a lot of kids right now. Like they're the only people that looking for jobs.
Yep.
Which is great. But managing 16, 17-year-olds is very challenging because they don't know who they are sometimes. And so you deal with so many emotions every day. And I'm like, baby, it's okay. Like, they're like, no, she's being so rude. It's okay. Like, and so that's super challenging because, like, you have to remember they're still somebody's child. Like, I have to tell somebody that, like, this is a kid. She's 16. Why are you being mean? Why are you being this mean?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the most challenging part. The adults is easy, but the kids, because they're somebody's baby,
Yeah.
and you're treating them like they're not human.
Has that been hard? I've heard a lot of complaints from people in the service industry about dealing with customers in recent months or the last year or so, where it's just been a lot of rude interaction.
It's like, why are you so mean?
Has it been? Do you notice that it's been worse?
Oh yes, we talk about this all the time. We're like, okay, people was mean before COVID,
Mm-hmm.
but why did they get even meaner?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you sat in the house for months. Did that make you meaner? Did that make you more not understanding of our life, your life? Like what?
Right.
Because it's no reason for you to be this rude.
Are there any like team meetings beforehand, like additional training on like how to handle these things?
We do have we just had a meeting on Saturday. I'm sorry, store meeting.
Yeah.
And then the month before, we try to have a meeting like once a month, just to tell like, hey, this is how we should handle this. This is how you should handle
Okay.
this. This is how we should go about this. And it's
Good.
also like monthly training for like our rollouts. We have different rollouts, different beer specials, different liquors. So we have to talk about stuff, but we also talk about the things that we all know that's going on in the store, and bringing everybody back in. Cause it's a lot. Like, there's days people be like, my store specifically does this crispy check. So we give you a wing in a boat to try and make sure it's crispy enough for you. Because one day, I threw away so many chicken because people was like, they're not crispy enough. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, we cook our wings for 12 minutes, but like when you say crispy, we do another 8 minutes. So that's 20 minutes. If they're not crispy enough for you, and everybody's preference is different.
Right.
So that's why we do the crispy check. I was like, I'm tired of this. We can't throw away this much inventory. This is too much. So I'm like, we give out a chicken wing every time you order crispy. Is it crispy enough? And there's people be like 3 more minutes, 5 more minutes. Because everybody's preference is different.
Is that something that you?
I did it.
Okay.
I'm the only location that does it because I did it. It was something I did because I wanted
Yeah.
to stop throwing away inventory. I'm like, we can't keep throwing away inventory, and everybody's preference is different. I like my chicken for 20 minutes. That doesn't mean you like your chicken for 20 minutes. It's a lady that comes in, she likes her chicken for 40 minutes.
Oh.
And you all accommodate.
We
You
don't.
can accommodate.
If
Okay.
you want to wait, that's up to you.
Yes.
But you have to be patient. There's people that they want their chicken the way they want it, but they don't be patient. Well, how can you want your chicken all drums, extra crispy, extra wet, but don't have
The time.
tolerance or
patience,
time?
yeah.
So talk about that patience. Servers,
Everybody
everybody in the place. And in your monthly meetings, is that something that's
Listen.
touched on? How to? What does that look like? Right?
Patience is everything
Mhm.
because you have to realize that people are different.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. You have people that understand. You have people that, but like with takeout, I'm gonna go there. So like with my cashiers, 100%, they have the most patience ever because they have delivery drivers that they really don't care about what we have going on because they want their delivery food and they want to go. They want to make their money and they want to go, but they don't understand that sometimes it's busy. So it's times where people walk up to my cashiers and go and show them their phone, not talking to them like they're him. They just show them the phone. Okay, what's the name on the order? Oh, I have to look at your phone, but I'm also on the phone talking to somebody else, helping somebody else. They don't care about any of that. So your patience is very, very much needed. Like you have to really think about, okay, I'm here. This is at work. This person's gonna rush me. This person's gonna need be extra. You have to think
Right.
constantly. Like
Absolutely.
there's no really turning off your brain.
Mhm.
Your brain because you
Mhm.
sometimes I find myself talking to myself about my way. Nisha, don't do that. That's not a smart thing to do.
Absolutely. I think that that's an important piece for, job seekers, fresh into the work field or seasoned. I think it's a great skill to practice and have. How to talk goodness to yourself and, reground yourself and focus.
People think it sounds crazy. You know that. Like when you're talking to people, and you tell them like you have to talk to yourself. You have to remind yourself. They're like, what? I gotta do what? No,
Absolutely.
but you have to.
It's not practiced enough, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You have to practice.
Yeah.
More than you know it. Like every day, I'm like, okay, today's gonna be a good day. Today's gonna be a good day.
Absolutely. And claiming it as such.
Yep.
So you all, it's fast paced. You have to be flexible, people person, communication. Sounds like some of the skill sets that could be helpful to be successful or considered or to be successful in this job. Also, just tell me a little bit about the physical part because you all are like standing, you're moving. Tell me about the physical requirements of.
You have to know you have to be on your feet. Like
Okay.
so, cashiers, servers work, cooks. Well, no, cashier servers work anywhere from 6 to 8 hours. You do not get a break. The state of Wisconsin does not require us to give you a break, unless you work over 10 hours.
Mhm.
9 times out of 10, you're not working over 10 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Now management, we work 50 hours a week, 5 10-hour shifts. And if it's busy, you can't leave. So like there's days I work 13, 14 hours. On my feet, moving around. So you have to know you're gonna be on your feet a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So is it required that you work 5 10-hour shifts?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
All managers have to work 5 10-hour shifts. So in my position, I'm a salary manager. So there's weeks that I work 60 hours and I'm only paid for 50. But there's weeks that I can have a short week, or a short day. So you can balance it, and then the hourly managers are required to work 5 10-hour shifts.
Wow.
No questions asked. But so the servers, bartenders, 7 to 8 hours. Cooks are like 9 hours. I have cooks that come in at 8 in the morning and they don't leave till 5 or 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on when they get the work done. So like one of my cooks have to put away my truck. My trucks are typically $10,000. So they have to put away that and have it organized before they leave. Food has to be labeled, food has to be dated, and rotated. So it's a long process. So sometimes it takes like Super Bowl Sunday. My truck was 400 cases, so it was like a $13,000 truck. It took my cook a long time because he had to make sure he rotated all the boneless, all the French fries. He had to rotate and make sure everything that was already in the freezer got moved to the front.
Yeah.
And we made sure we were pulling the things that was new to the back. our kitchen is super small. Our restaurant's one of the smallest in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
So like you're in a tight space all the time. There's times I'll be like, oh my god, I got freaking 4 cashiers on and I have no room for 4 cashiers.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to have that
Yeah.
with when takeout's busy. As it
Yeah.
as it is.
So it sounds like attention to detail is really important.
Mhm.
Taking orders, that organization in the kitchen, that understanding of being physical, fast paced, people person. For any job seekers that may be watching or interested in becoming a server or a bartender or a cashier in a restaurant environment, what other skills do you think are important for them to have?
So other than like being a people person, also being able to fix a situation by yourself. So like, say you rang in an order wrong, you misheard the person. Being able to communicate with the person and being respectful. So if you're not really like, oh, I messed up. I could fix this way. I could do this like this. Make the person happy. You can't really go above and beyond in your own mind. It's kind of hard because like you have to think like, okay, it's busy. The managers are busy. I need to fix the situation so this person don't be mad. And really talking to people all the time because there's times I'll be like, okay, did you ask them this? Did you find this out? Like I asked you first. So before I even go communicate with the guest, I'm talking to you. So you need to be able to communicate and move around areas. You need to be able to be like, okay, I can fix this somehow.
Absolutely, problem solve,
Mhm.
resolving conflict. I'm sure is a small,
Yeah.
medium piece.
I know it's a big piece.
It's a
Actually.
big piece.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if you're not when I interview people, if you're not like you could be like, I don't deal with confrontation. You don't deal with what? I don't know how that's gonna work.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, absolutely. And so just leave us with some of the things that you fell in love with in the beginning that keeps you going in the server field.
In the server field, one of the things that kept me going, that keeps me going, is that I know you could leave an impression on somebody and they'll come back just for you. So that makes me be like, oh my god, like they're here for me. So it gives you a little boost of confidence, so to say. So it's like, okay, they came just to see me. They don't want to talk to nobody else. They want me.
Being a part of someone's day, making their day, inspiring a smile.
I'm making somebody else. I'm making somebody else happy. Like I'm impacting that much. So
Absolutely.
it's the impact.
And in turn, impacting the business, right? Because like you're bringing back customers based on the performance that you.
For sure, you bring back once you give some good service sometimes, and you don't know how many times. I tell guests this all the time. They be like, "This is the best Buffalo Wild Wings." Yeah, to you it is. That don't mean to the next person. But I'm glad I made that impact on them. So it's about impacting everybody differently.
Yep.
What if someone was interested in applying at BW3s? How would they go about that?
So we have a web. You go to Buffalo Wild Wings
Yes.
and .com and then go to careers, and usually it locates whatever location you want to apply for. So with all the locations we have in the city, you just pick what's closer to you. That's what I like to tell them. Pick the one that's closest to your house. Because traveling sometimes becomes a lot. Like
For sure.
Ubering, bus, car, all of those can be expensive. So pick the closest location to your house and you put it online. Well, we're on Indeed. Or you can go to Buffalo Wild Wings. You get a text message. So at our location, we do text messages because people don't check their emails. We know that in this day and age, people use their phones all the time, nonstop. So we just do a text message.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Anything else that you wanted to leave with? Any job seekers or anyone interested in exploring this field? Any gems you want to leave us with?
So if people are interested, we are definitely hiring. We have cook position, servers, cashiers, bartenders, but you also have to know that you have a 6-day training. And the company if anybody's interested in managing the company's looking for management, it's a great company to work for. I've been here for 10 years and I don't regret it. Like, I love what I do.
That's great.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Kamisha, for coming in today. We appreciate the information, and we are looking forward to some job seekers exploring the field of serving.
Thank you.
Thank you.